Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here at the last hour of the day. It has been the first day of Smart City, and thank you for being here with us. We will have the last session of today. Last but not least, I am Oscar Chamat. I am working with the City Council designing bike infrastructure for the city, and also have a podcast about smart cities. But the most important thing is to learn what's going on abroad, what's going on in other cities. For that, we will have as a first speaker, the structure will be 5 minutes. Every speaker has one clock there to tell you how much time do you left. Every speaker will have 5 minutes. They will be on time, I'm sure of that. And afterwards, you will have time for questions and answers. So, please, Mr. Muammar Al Katheeri, I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Welcome to the stage and be with us.
Slide. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Today I'm talking about Dubai Silicon Oasis as one of the free zones in Dubai. And we act as a testbed for the government of Dubai. So in the smart city, we are working on the 6 verticals: the smart environment, living, economy, people, governance, and most of all, mobility. So we had different projects that talk about mobility. So we had the crowdsourcing platform called Intalaq with Emirates Airline that generated a different mixture of companies and startups, such as Dubs and Rent for Mom. And there's also the connected vehicles. This is based on AI solution where a car can predict in case of an accident through certain devices installed in the intersection and on the own car. And there is interest from different car manufacturers to adopt this in the future. Also, we focus on providing the knowledge through a university called RIT University, which is we developed a master's degree in city science and also sponsors the first batch. We worked with blockchain as a technology. So this is also some of the solutions that we provided by integrating information to Dubai Economic Department that issue licenses for companies and also vice versa to Dubai Silicon Oasis. And we have launched just 2 weeks back the autonomous taxi, and this will be running in our city on the 24th of November. From the mobility side, I will leave you with this video, which addresses a problem that we had in our city. And it's a short video that's almost 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Adam. I'm 8 years old. I live close to my school, so I walk there every day. I'm here, but people don't see me. Cars never stop for me.
When you know someone, you care more about them. So we had an idea to make the zebra crossing more personal. Introducing
Jasmine, Hannah, Adam,
the Human Crossing, an initiative from Volkswagen that gave the stop sign another name, theirs. 2,000 RFID tags were given to local school children. With the help of motion tracking technology, their names were displayed to drivers as they crossed the street. So people stopped. For Jamal, for Hannah, for Jasmine, for Lynn. for Adam.
Hi, my name is Adam. I'm 8 years old. I live close to my school, so I walk there every day. I'm here. Do you see me now?
So from this solution with Volkswagen, you can see that Dubai Silicon Oasis is very active in different roles, but mainly as a test bed for the smart city solutions and all the verticals. And you are most welcome to visit us at Smart Dubai site, stand here. And the human crossing addresses a problem that we had in the city for the safety of the kids. And it was an award-winning solution for us in different arenas. And by implementing this also, we gave a chance to see and explore solutions that could make our roads safer for humans. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for bringing us ideas that what is important here is not the technology, but how the people is using the street. Thank you for that. Now we have Paolo Ferri. He's talking also about a small mode of transportation. We talk about people crossing the streets. Now, Paolo, bring us ideas about bikes.
Good evening, everyone. Is it like this? Okay. Good evening. I will talk to you about how behavioral change can help in introducing a new type of transportation and how we applied the online review approach to cycling into the city. First of all, Wecity. Wecity is an application that rewards every form of sustainable mobility, automatically detects the kind of transportation, and rewards those who commute by bike, by foot, by public transport, and carpooling. We do this with mission and challenges in order to promote behavioral change, because we need to engage people who normally use the car and not the other way around. So if you start considering about leaving your car at home and start cycling instead, probably your number one concern would be about safety. And not only if you are a first-timer, but also if you need to displace in a district or a city you are unfamiliar with. So to address this problem, our first thought was to start collecting data about public lanes and restricted access area in order to provide at least a first layer of information. But this sometimes may prove not to be a good idea, because this is a bike lane sometimes. Okay, so, and joking apart, you can't apply this methodology because it's non-standard, non-scalable. It's different from one city to another. And there is more. You miss what it's really like biking in a city. Even if you are in a rush, you can always find a different way to get to your destination if the city allows you. So we decided to apply the online review approach instead. What does it mean? You all know the tremendous power that online review have today on every kind of business. We rely on online review for everything. Also, it feels good to write a review sometimes. And latest trends show that more and more positive reviews are being written. So not only the hater write a review. So there was a good chance to have a good balance between these two values. So what we did was to add a very simple feature to our application, just one simple question at the end of every trip That is, how safe was your commute? And you could answer with 1 star, 5 star, where 1 star is very dangerous and 5 star is totally safe. So it's just swipe your thumb, half second interaction with the application, feels good, and you're done. Because the idea was that senior cyclists could help the beginners to get along in the city and find a better route. So then we created a grid. Every city has a grid because we wanted something clear and easily transferable to a map. Okay, so with this grid, we just take every review and we transfer the value of every review to the corresponding points on the grid. So basically, every point on the city grid has 2 values: the numbers of reviews and the safety level value, which is the average of all the reviews that have been given to that street. Actually, the algorithm is a little bit more complicated because it also takes into account the length of every trip in order to weight different reviews. But let me skip technicalities. The interesting thing is that now it's super easy to apply this 1 star, 5 star approach to the whole city. So the city becomes immediately rankable. You can compare them, and you get people to compete, but also cooperate in a certain way. And we also were amazed by the amount of data. We expected the review to follow the 1990 rule, but we get more and more data. So yes, just a couple of things before leaving you. You can, maps are available on this website to a certain degree. You can see them here. And hopefully we will have Barcelona on the list in very few weeks. We will start a cooperation with la Bicycle Association of Catalonia. And because things were very good, we decided to ask more questions. So the next one will be about noise in the city, and we will be asking this question to pedestrians. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this review about another mode of transport that is growing in every city. For the next presentation, we will have the city of Vienna with Stephan Hartmann. Please, Stephan, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Yes, mobility solutions for enabling urban life without private car. This is an objective. This is like part of, I think, a lot of business model, but I think still this is a big hypothesis. And I will just give you a short, brief summary of a 5 hours presentation in the next 5 minutes. So what is behind this and what is behind of my work? There is a shared vision is one part which is really important for reaching this objective. Vienna has a smart city strategy adopted in 2014. For example, we have the objective for 20% traffic of car traffic, and in the long run just 15%. At the moment it's 27%, but just by tomorrow it should be 20% car traffic, so it's like a big step to go, and we really need solutions and demonstrate how we can achieve these objectives and vision we have set up in Vienna, but also internationally. One big part of it is bringing the objects on the ground, and this is my job. I'm the project manager of a lighthouse district project, so I'm the project manager. At this district we are implementing and demonstrating different kinds of smart city solutions, also mobility solutions. There are different partners, also industrial partner working there, and we are investing approximately 80 million euros in these years in this district. what's really important in bringing objectives on the ground is to work with the community, work with the peoples. You see some pictures, some examples, what we have done. You see we have bike sharing at the cemetery of Vienna. It sounds really crazy, but it's a big partner. They need bikes. They have a huge area, a few kilometers to go for e-bikes. It's a good partner also for the financing, for the investment. We have e-cargo bikes implemented for the citizen to achieve mobility without their private cars, also for delivery and bringing goods to home. We have it's an area, we have to say, with a low income and low education background, so it's really not so easy to get in touch and work with citizens. So we're going out to public space. So you see, right, we have made a stand where you go to public space, and we, for example, we did bike repair workshops in order to get the bikes running again, which were broken. Or we have a very successful game which is called Beat the Street, where children can collect points and kilometers for active mobility to go and to walk. Of course, you know the figures and the monitor the impacts. Vienna has now a car ownership rate of 370 cars per 1,000 inhabitants. So this is like our figure at the moment. And for this district, we made an own survey like 2 years ago. At the district, I told you 40% of the households don't have a car, but another 43% have 2 cars or more cars in a household. So both examples are valid at the moment, but maybe both are like an access point for car sharing. This is like one topic. Of course, another thing, you will hear it constantly, is connectivity and access to mobility solutions, the integration. So in September, the first mobility station was opened at the last stop of the metro station, where you have different mobility services on the ground in the physical space. You have a car sharing car, you have e-car charging, you have e-bikes and e-cargo bike and storage boxes. And of course, this has to be connected in an integrated mobility app. So this is really a big part for the urban life without car ownership, as I told you. Another example is cooperations, cooperative solutions, cooperative approaches. We have here at a social housing estate a car sharing going on since 1 year. There are 3 electric cars available for the tenants. And the big cooperative part in this was that the tenants, the users, are part of an active group of users doing maintenance and service works as well for this service. One just last example is we are now in Vienna coming from building carports or parking spaces to integrated mobility services. So there are concepts made, and investors which are building houses and offices, etc., building new buildings, invest in a mobility fund, pay in a mobility fund, and with this mobility fund we can pay and finance this mobility service in future at district level. So this would be an approach and a tool for us, an instrument how to bring these services on the ground. So bring the objectives on the ground, and that's it. Alone we are smart, together we are brilliant. So.
Thank you so much, Stephan, for your presentation. Next, we will have Dirk O Evenson. That's right? He comes from Berlin. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. I'll try to keep in 5 minutes as well. We work in a consultancy, and we work with cities, we work with companies, big and small, and we work with also with science and any kind of advocates that wants to have new mobility. In that, what we often see that people focus a lot on infrastructure and a lot of regulation. And sometimes these projects that we work with or that we do actually don't live up to their full potential, sometimes fail, because they don't take into account the human factor of progress. And what is the human factor of progress? First of all, finding the right things. What is a bike lane without bikes? And that is a question that San Diego recently was asked when they implemented for millions bike lanes and didn't see immediately the effect of bikes on those roads. So people that were opposed to it, because obviously we're taking space and money away from other modes of transport, that was the question. So what is a bike lane without a bike? That question is about what do people choose? And that's something, if you don't make the assumption that all people do exactly what your agenda is, what your mindset and your preferences are, but actually find out, and also find out what might inhibit them to actually do what they want to do, because many people want to take a bike, you might get further in. So we've seen that, and we've seen many other projects where people would come to us, or we just see it in a conversation, that even people that were bike advocates said, you know what, and now what happened is that Bird came and Lime Bike came, and they taken over our beautiful bike lanes. We don't like that. What we decided to do, because we're situated in Berlin and San Diego, is to make a comparative study of these two cities, which are a bit different, but also are about roughly the same size, about eighth in terms of EU or US, but obviously very different in terms of topography, what kind of car dependency, what kind of public transport they have. And we asked people, how did they adopt to these new services that have been in some form or another around in Berlin for 20 years, but lately obviously electric scooters came into play, and San Diego has, since the beginning of the year, had avalanche of bike schemes coming in. The interesting part is most people, and it's been a huge success there, didn't take a scooter because they wanted to save the world, the planet. They also didn't do it because they wanted to had the urge to get out of the car. What they mentioned was the thing that triggered most to try the first time to get onto one of these vehicles was curiosity. That's the human drive, the drive of human progress per se. So the second one was also personal recommendation. So if you venture out to something new, if somebody you trust tells you, let's do it, I've done it before, also does help. Other things obviously work less. So obviously novelty is always a great attractor, but what makes people stick to actually be it? Now, again in Berlin, a very established market in these fields, even though with the new players, San Diego not so much, but this was actually simultaneous results of those people that have tried it, that actually responded to our things, said 94% said we're still going to do it, and we use it either once a week or irregularly, and only 4% said no, we don't use it at all. So being slightly addictive probably is a good means to actually get people out of their cars. And again, it was this, when we asked them, what is it that actually lets you stay there? What is it, what you like about it? Why do you keep getting on these things, like a kick scooter or something else? They said, actually, it's easy to use. I like the ease of use, and it's fun. Now, obviously, you see some differences between Berlin and San Diego. Some are linked to maybe that's interpretation of the situation in each city. But all in all, we had well over 50% saying it's actually great fun, it's easy. And the more rational parts and saying it's also affordable and it's maybe faster or as fast, kind of ranked afterwards, which makes it more of a hygiene factor that people would, they wouldn't actually do it for that, but if it wouldn't be met, then of course they wouldn't use those modes of transport. So this is a very short insight into the a bit larger study that we did on behavioral economics, and that's what we're thinking. Be agnostic, infrastructure is necessary but not sufficient, understanding motivation is. Thank you, and if you want to download this, it's right there. Thank you.
Okay, we have one extra speaker today. He's Roger Junqueras. He's from a very interesting company who will talk about bike sharing in Barcelona, probably.
Buenas tardes. Excuse me, I speak in Spanish. My English is very disaster. Además, por problemas de agenda, no hemos tenido tiempo de preparar, pero un poco, tal como me anunciaban, hemos sido la empresa adjudicataria del nuevo sistema de bicing de Barcelona. Ferrovial ha hecho una asociación desde el 2006, trabaja conjuntamente con PBCC, una de las principales empresas canadienses de construcción de bicicleta para bike sharing. formamos una joint venture ya con la intencionalidad de empezar a trabajar en una estrategia de movilidad conjunta referente a la movilidad en bike sharing en las ciudades, con el objetivo en 2017 ya de presentarnos al concurso de Barcelona. El bike sharing, como hemos podido ver en las ponencias anteriores también y como podemos ver en todo el Congreso, realmente está tomando mucho pie en las ciudades. Estamos hablando ya de más de 53 países en el mundo con sistemas de bike sharing instalados. Estamos hablando de más de 650.000 bicis de bike sharing por el mundo. Realmente en España es un mercado absolutamente creciente con ya más de 22.000 bicis circulando en sistemas bike sharing por ciudades españolas. Y nosotros nos presentamos al concurso de Barcelona y por repasarlo un poco rápidamente, es un concurso con una durabilidad de 10 años, más 5 posibles de prórroga. Instalaremos 7.000 bicis, empezaremos esta implantación en enero del 2019, implantaremos 519 estaciones híbridas, con 7.000 bicis, 6.000 mecánicas y 1.000 eléctricas. Presentamos una de las primeras soluciones en estación realmente híbrida. Nuestra estación reconocerá nuestras bicicletas y se pondrá y decidirá si son eléctricas, cargarlas o no. Realmente venimos con una solución que pensamos que, tal como ya pedía el pliego de condiciones de Barcelona, tenía que ser una solución híbrida con un prototipo exactamente igual entre la bicicleta mecánica y la bicicleta eléctrica, porque el Ayuntamiento de Barcelona se reserva la posibilidad de pedirnos cada año que transformemos tantas bicis mecánicas y eléctricas como ellos quieran. Por tanto, la ventaja de presentar un prototipo con 2 bicicletas exactamente idénticas nos permite que, introduciendo la batería y prácticamente cambiando la rueda trasera, tenemos la bici transformada en eléctrica para contribuir y seguir evolucionando si realmente hay una aceptación de la bici eléctrica, que va a ser seguro que sí, porque Barcelona, por su orografía, es estrictamente necesario. De hecho, el actual contrato ha sufrido muchísimo por estos temas, por culpa de la orografía. Realmente su utilización y provocaba muchísimos problemas de rebalanceo para la ciudad. Entramos con una solución, como os digo, híbrida, con muchas esperanzas realmente de implantarlas. Haremos una implantación curiosa porque el Ayuntamiento ha decidido que no va a parar el servicio actual de bicing en ningún momento. Por tanto, durante 3 meses cohabitaremos las 2 empresas. Vamos a hacer una sustitución desde enero hasta marzo, en la cual vamos a ir cambiando una a una las estaciones, respetando lo que son los actuales clústeres y subclústeres, para realmente que el ciudadano no pierda en ningún momento utilización, que de hecho la perderá, porque cuando nosotros empecemos a instalar nuestra primera instalación, vamos a cambiar o instalar 8 estaciones diarias. Eso quiere decir que el actual contratista desmontará y nosotros montaremos. La primera semana la gente solo podrá circular por el primer barrio donde hayamos instalado. Pero en 1 mes y medio habremos dado la primera vuelta entera a la ciudad y a partir y en el tercer mes habremos implantado todo esto en un sistema. Realmente esto lleva a la complicación no solo arquitectónica y de servicios, de instalar un nuevo producto en la calle totalmente diferente, lo cual nos ha hecho producir 419 planos distintos de implantación, adaptándonos a la realidad de lo que son las ciudades, zonas de contenedores, aparcamientos de coches, vados, sistemas de drenaje, alcantarillado y evidentemente intentar colocar un sistema en el mínimo tiempo posible. Hemos hecho ya pruebas de instalación, tenemos la primer testing instalado, tardamos 1 hora y media en instalar y dejar montada, probada, totalmente testeada una estación de 24 docks. Por tanto, consideramos que realmente esta implantación será un éxito. Pero que hablar, ya lo hemos visto con los anteriores ponentes, ¿no? Hablarles un poco de lo que significa para mí un bike sharing realmente para una ciudad. Realmente yo creo que es una mejora clara en la movilidad. Estamos realmente mejorando, ayudando a sacar el vehículo de las ciudades, una movilidad activa, implantar un bike sharing. Estamos ayudando a la vida saludable, hacemos que la gente haga deporte, estamos haciendo una mejora medioambiental, entramos con un sistema eléctrico y mecánico y todos los vehículos de soporte serán eléctricos, cual cosa será una mejora medioambiental muy importante, una mejora en los costes de inversión. Les he comentado que va a ser una inversión para la ciudad de más de 20 millones de euros, pero va a hacer una estación de metro cuesta muchísimo más que esto, por tanto realmente es una solución económica para una ciudad. Aprovecha una infraestructura creada. Hemos visto algunos errores de carriles bicis que se van contra unas vallas en una ponencia anterior, pero realmente Barcelona ha hecho una inversión muy importante. En los últimos 2 años ha ampliado su parque de carril bici en más de 65 kilómetros. Por tanto, aprovechamos una infraestructura creada que no debemos montar, por tanto es otro ahorro económico. Y cómo no, aprovechar el cambio de paradigma, ¿no? Nuestros millennials que están llegando versus a la propiedad privada. Yo creo que ya mis hijos no tendrán coches, se moverán en sistemas de car sharing, bike sharing, moto sharing, que ya tenemos implantando todas las ciudades, y esperemos que regulen el patinete, porque si no, en algunas ciudades está siendo un pequeño caos. Muchísimas gracias.
For those who don't speak Spanish, I will try, with your pardon, to try to brief synthesis of his speech. They are deploying in Barcelona 6,000 of bike sharing system in Barcelona. What is interesting is that they are with a system that is a hybrid system. The dogs will recognize if the bike is mechanical or is electrical. And what is more important, what for me is more interesting, is that they will do it simultaneously with the existing system in the city. I mean, this is a very complex problem that they face, the city face, and you as a concessionary will face. Okay, thank you. Any questions, please? Any doubts, any comments from the audience? The microphone, please.
Since I'll be asking the ferrovial guy, I'm going to do it in Spanish, if that's okay. Then I'll rephrase it in English, if you want. Las estaciones de bici, de ferrovial, estas nuevas que estáis poniendo, los usuarios, cuando cojan una bici de las antiguas, y por ejemplo, si su destino es una de vuestras estaciones nuevas, ¿podrán dejar su bici ahí? ¿Es compatible el sistema con el actual?
He asked if the system is compatible between the old system and the new concession.
Gracias. No, los dos sistemas no son compatibles. Por esto vamos a hacer el cambio una a una, respetando clústeres y subclústeres. Por eso un poco apuntaba que va a ser una problemática inicial para el usuario. Porque hasta que no hayamos dado una primera vuelta completa a la ciudad, que será en un mes y medio, realmente tú no podrás ir a cualquier punto de la ciudad. Era muy difícil realmente compatibilizar los dos sistemas, porque aparte son muy diferentes. Aparte, del sistema actual no tiene bicis eléctricas y las estaciones no tienen capacidad ni potencia para recargarlas, ¿no?
The question is if they are compatible, and the answer is no, it's not compatible because the system is absolutely different. Over there is one question. Thank you.
Thank you for presentations. And my question is, what do you think? Is it possible to integrate bike sharing system in the metropolitan area? So the question is, for example, in Barcelona, we have the time of using bicycle is a half of hour. But for example, we have the river park in metropolitan area of Barcelona, where people go every day from one municipio to another municipio by bike. But if you don't have bike, you have a problem. For example, you can't use this. So we have a system of roads for bicycle and pedestrian road, but you can't use this system. And this metropolitan area is already the part of the city. It's not like no man's land, it's a part of the city. And the question is it possible to integrate bike sharing system in these areas? Thank you.
Bueno, no sé si conocen Barcelona y su área metropolitana. Barcelona está limitada a su crecimiento por el mar, por la montaña de Collserola y por dos ríos, el Llobregat y el Besós. Y estos marcan su área metropolitana, que son 36 municipios, y imposibilitan el crecimiento de la ciudad. Y lo que hizo Barcelona, su estrategia, fue pues, crear un área metropolitana, que es una administración que controla y ayuda a estos municipios, todo y que está presidida por el Ayuntamiento de Barcelona. Realmente voy a dar una respuesta de opinión personal. Yo creo que deberían ampliar el bicing al área metropolitana. No solo deberían, sino que sería absolutamente necesario hacerlo. Hay un problema de competencia seguramente de administración, yo creo que se acabará resolviendo, pero realmente para mí es importantísimo, porque hoy en día tú no puedes, para ir de Sant Vicenç dels Horts a Molins de Rei, tienes que pasar por Barcelona. Es 1 hora y media cuando en bici sería un trayecto de 5 minutos. Los estudiantes del lado derecho del Llobregat no pueden ir a estudiar a la Universidad Autónoma sin pasar por Barcelona. La gente de Tiana no puede llegar a Barcelona con transporte público a no ser que haga 5 cambios de transporte público. Por tanto, para mí es indispensable que Barcelona empiece a pensar ya como una gran urbe, como una gran metrópoli, y empiece a cambiar su skyline incorporando el área metropolitana y actuando con sistemas de movilidad que sean transversales y ágiles. Realmente yo creo que Barcelona tiene que pensar ya en aparcamiento disuasorio y en un sistema de bike sharing que permita ser realmente transversal y ágil entre sus ciudades y entre los diferentes tipos de transporte. No olvidemos que por el lado derecho pasa la Renfe, por el lado izquierdo pasan los ferrocarriles y no interconectan, en el caso de Llobregat, por 31 kilómetros. O sea, es una cosa, y además aprovechando que los dos ríos están con intervenciones ciclables, Llobregat con 31 kilómetros desde Martorell hasta el mar y Besós como mínimo 800 desde Montcada hasta el mar. Por tanto, realmente tenemos, como decía antes, una infraestructura creada que sería muy fácil aprovecharla y realmente hacer una ampliación realmente a un sistema de bike sharing que fuera mucho más útil, ¿no? Porque el problema de Barcelona no es el 1,5 millones, 1.600.000 habitantes, sino los 3.300.000 que cada día, ¿no?, que dan presión, que viven en esta área metropolitana y dan presión a Barcelona, ¿no? Pues Barcelona tiene que pensar a solucionar ya su movilidad pensando en algo más grande.
Trying to be short, that answer, the answer was, is it possible? He said, no, it's not possible. It's a need for the city and for the metropolitan area because Barcelona metropolitan area has an infrastructure for bikes that should be used by any kind of system. Trying to be very short. Any question for there? There are 2. That's great that at this time you have questions. That's amazing.
Yeah, I
Congratulations.
still have a little bit of energy
That's
left.
great.
Well, it's an open question to any one of you who would like to answer. But I was wondering if you have any thoughts on where umbrella sharing fits into the future of mobility and walking in cities.
Umbrella?
Yeah, and rain. Rain in cities.
I don't have, apart from this quirky answer that rainy cities are better for it, like London or Berlin rather than San Diego, I don't really have an answer to that at this point. But maybe you do?
I've heard about a Chinese startup that was trying to scale up a service like this, but the problem was, for what I remember, the cost of the umbrella being very, very little. So at the end, people prefer to buy one instead of sharing.
No, there was another question.
This is a question for the CEO of WeBike, Wecity, excuse me. The question is if you have thought of implementing your rating system to public transport.
Yes, actually there wasn't time to say it, but a part of asking to the pedestrian how noisy is the neighborhood, we are already asking the users of public transport how on time the transport was. We want to keep the question very simple and easy to answer because this is the key to get a lot of data. So yes, there is some question about asked to the users of public transport.
Anyone?
Well, it's mainly a curiosity, first of all, since you said you will implement it for Barcelona, and he was talking about Barcelona as well. So this system is meant for locals, or will also engage tourism in the matter? How would you?
No, the problem is just that when you get to another country, we are a small startup. Our team is made of 8 people, so we're very small. So when we decide to get to another country, we need to afford cost and investment, but actually the app is already available on the Spanish market. So if your phones are connected to the Spanish store, you can already download and you can participate on the game.
La pregunta era... Vale, sí, te había... Ok, sí, perdone, es que me había parecido entenderlo, pero por si acaso. En principio el sistema de Barcelona está pensado solo para gente residente en Barcelona, como es el actual. ¿Vale? Sí que está preparado a nivel software, a nivel de sistemas, a nivel de tótem físicamente, por si hay algún consistorio en la ciudad que decide abrirlo también a turistas. De hecho, nuestro sistema de tecnología que utilizamos es la de nuestro socio, de PVCC, y ellos en otras ciudades del mundo, pues su sistema está pensado para turistas también, colocas tu tarjeta de crédito y coges la bici. Yo creo personalmente que el día que decidan hacerlo habrá que ampliar el parque de bicicletas de forma importante. De 7.000 bicicletas, en previsión de llevar las 8.000, pero creo que, no sé... No, por eso, que no sé si como París 23.900 bicis creo que tiene, no sé si debemos llegar allí, pero subirlo a 10.000 o a 15.000 bicis yo creo que sí, y creo que debería hacerlo Barcelona como ciudad, pero bueno.
Okay. Any raise hand? Okay. Thank you very much for being here in Smart City and with this arena. Thank you for coming, and we will see you during the day. Thank you for the speakers to be on time. That is very difficult. Thank you.